You ever meet somebody who completely flips your world upside down when you least expect it? That's what happened to me back when I was 17. Back when I thought I had life all figured out just because of the name on my student ID. My name's not important now, but back then it was enough to open every door. I had the sneakers, the car, the card that never got declined. Teachers looked the other way when I didn't turn in homework, and classmates either sucked up to me or whispered behind my back. On paper, I had everything, but inside I was hollow. One night, my dad, Robert Hayes, founder of Hayes Innovations, a man who wore power like a second skin, sat me down in his study. His voice didn't shake, didn't rise, just cut straight through me. "You're a disappointment. If you worked for me, I'd fire you on the spot." I tried to play tough, crossed my arms, and said, "I'm not your employee." He didn't even blink. The world doesn't care. Either you become someone, or you'll stay a spoiled kid living off my name, and I won't carry you. That was it. The next morning, no sports car, no credit card, no more special treatment. I was on the public school bus, squeezed between cracked vinyl seats and the smell of diesel. And that's where the real story began. I slipped into school through the side entrance that morning, head low, trying not to draw attention. That's when I heard the steady swish of a mop across the polished hallway. There she was, a woman in a faded uniform, bent over a bucket. I almost walked past her like everyone else did, until she said, almost to herself, "Knowing you don't know, that's true. Wisdom." I froze. "What did you just say?" She looked up, eyes sharp and calm at the same time. "Something you're not ready to understand yet, young man." Then she went right back to scrubbing the floor. That woman's name was Angela Brown. At the time, I thought she was just the janitor. Turns out she was the first person who ever made me question everything. A few days later, another failing test landed on my desk, red ink bleeding across the page. Math, history, English. I wasn't just failing, I was drowning. I stormed out the back exit, angry at the world, angry at myself. And there she was again, mopping up a spilled soda. This time I asked, "Last time, did you really quote Socrates?" She didn't flinch. Strange, isn't it? A janitor quoting a philosopher. Stranger still is a boy who has the world at his feet but can't pass a reading test. That hit harder than any insult from my dad. "Were you a teacher?" I blurted out. Angela leaned on the mop handle. "I was. I taught literature once until life took it away, and for the first time I let my guard down. Then teach me. Please. I don't want to fail anymore." She studied me a long while, then nodded. "One condition: you leave the Hayes name and your ego at the door. You'll learn from the ground up." So that's what we did. Every morning before sunrise, 1 hour in that quiet hallway, me with a brand new notebook, her with gospel music humming softly from one earbud. She didn't hand out answers. She asked questions that cut deep. Why is this character silent? Is it because you can't see it or because you're afraid to? She gave me Baldwin Morrison, Langston Hughes writers I'd never heard of. She marked my pages with red ink that stung worse than any failing grade. "This part's pretty but empty. Start again." At first I hated it, but slowly, something shifted. I wasn't scared of bad grades anymore. I was scared of seeing nothing in my own words. Of course, word got around. One day at lunch, a guy named Jason Big Mouth Quarterback, full of himself, stood on a chair and shouted, "Look, Hayes is writing love letters to the janitor." Laughter rippled across the tables. I shot up ready to swing, but Angela appeared calm as stone. She put a hand on my shoulder and whispered, "Don't measure depth with a shallow ruler." Just like that, my anger fizzled. For once, I didn't fight fire with fire, but the real battle was waiting at home. My dad got wind that I'd been spending time with a custodian. He slammed a folder of my essays shut and snarled, "You're learning from someone who mops floors." I stood my ground. She used to be a professor, and she sees me. His face darkened. You're tarnishing the Hayes name. End it with her or lose everything money car the name itself. My chest was pounding, but my voice stayed steady. Maybe I need to lose everything to find out who I really am. He didn't say another word, just turned and walked out. Soon after, Angela was let go. Budget cuts, the school said. But we both knew the truth. The system doesn't always fix what's broken, it punishes what works. One morning I showed up to our hallway and her mop was gone, closet locked. That emptiness, it nearly broke me. Then I saw a flyer on the bulletin board, end-of-year speech contest. Theme: what does it mean to win in life? Scholarships, prestige, all that. But for me, it was more. It was a chance to say her name out loud to prove she hadn't been invisible. I poured myself into writing. Draft after draft nights bleeding into mornings. My friends from Angela's secret study group gathered in the abandoned library, grilling me. Don't just say you're grateful, Priya told me. Tell us why. Tell us what it cost. Another added, don't call her a janitor. Say her name. So I wrote it, over and over. Angela Brown. The day of the contest, the auditorium was packed. Parents, students, sponsors. My dad sat in the front row, arms folded, stone-faced. My heart hammered as they called my name. I stepped to the podium, hands shaking, and opened with the line I'd practiced 100 times. I had everything handed to me, but inside, I was hollow. The room went still. Then I said her name, Angela Brown. She taught me to read between the lines, to be ashamed in the right places, ashamed of what I didn't know. She had no office, no podium, only a mop and the courage to see me when no one else would. A murmur rippled through the crowd. My dad's jaw tightened, but I pressed on. Sometimes a system doesn't fix what's broken. It strikes down what's working. But she showed me the truth: winning isn't standing over others. Winning is lifting someone up. My voice cracked, but I didn't care. I finished with the words she'd drilled into me. Real learning isn't about passing a class. Real learning is transformation. Silence. Then one clap, then another, and suddenly the whole room was on its feet. I spotted her in the back row, head wrapped in a scarf, tears in her eyes. She didn't wave, just pressed a hand over her chest, like to say, we're all right now. That speech changed everything. A clip of it spread across alumni pages, then education forums. Headlines read, Billionaire's son. Thanks Janitor who saved him. Invitations poured in for Angela, colleges, nonprofits, community groups. She finally got the recognition she deserved. As for me, I stopped chasing Ivy League acceptance letters. I chose a small college focused on social justice, and together, Angela and I started sketching out something bigger. A place where kids like me, or nothing like me, could come to learn without shame. We called it the Brown Institute. No grades, no status, just honesty. Years later, my dad showed up at the grand opening. No entourage, no cameras. Just him, hands in pockets, standing in the back. He looked around at the mismatched chairs, the wall of student writings, the old bookshelves, and finally whispered, "Thank you for doing what I couldn't." Angela shook her head. I just asked the questions. He did the rest. Now every morning when I walk into that building and smell the faint scent of floor wax, our little ritual to honor where it all began, I think back to that first time she stopped me in the hallway with a single line. Knowing you don't know, that's true wisdom. And I finally get it. So let me ask you this. What does winning mean to you? Is it about being seen, stacking money, collecting titles? Or is it about learning to really see someone else and lifting them up when no one else will? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me if you've ever had an Angela Brown in your life, someone invisible to the world, but unforgettable to you. And if this story hit you, hit that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe, because stories like this, they're just getting started.